Om Badrang Karneve Shunuyama Devaha Adram Pashye Makshabhir Yajatraha Sthirhai Rangai Stustavagam Sastanubhihi Vashema Deva Hitan Yadayuho Swastina Indro Vruddhashravaha Swastina Pusha Vishwavedaha स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ओम शांति शांति शांतिः ओम अग्ने नया सुपताराहे अस्मान् विश्वानि देवा वयुनानि विद्वान् यूयोऽध्यस्मज्जुहुराणमेनो भूयिष्ठां ते नमभुक्तिं विधेम ओम शांति शांति शांतिः ओम ब्रह्मन् ब्रह्मणो ब्रह्मवर्चसी जायताम् आराष्ट्रे राजन्यः शूरैषव्योऽतिव्याधि महारथो जायताम् दोग्ध्रीधेनुः ओढानध्वान्नाशः सप्तिः पुरन्धिर्योषः जिष्णोरतेष्ठः सवेयो युवा अस्य यजमानस्य वीरो जायताम् निकामे निकामे न पर्जन्यो न वर्षतो फलवत्यो न वोषधयः पच्यन्ताम् योगक्षेमो नः कल्पेताम् ओम शांति शांति शांतिः ओम आप्यायन्तो ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुः श्रोत्रमतो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् आहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् ममा ब्रह्म निराकरोतु अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरते य उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तो ओम शांति शांति शांतिः ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांतिः हरिः ओम।
Thank you. So today we have an excellent program. Welcome all to the Pravachana Malika series, talk number 4, and we are very, very pleased to have our featured keynote speaker, Professor Shashi Tiwari ji today. And we have a theme which is style and theme of Kathopanishad of Yajurveda. So that is going to be our talk, keynote talk today. And I want to, introduce the speaker. She's very, very distinguished. I am really pleased to do this. I will project a slide here. So Shashi Tiwari ji is someone I have known from when I was very young and very much respected and accomplished scholar. And she is currently now in a very significant role as the president of the wider Association for Vedic Studies. She has taught Sanskrit and Veda in Delhi universities, colleges for many decades. She has authored 35 books in this area of Sanskrit and Veda, and actually 5 of the books have got Academy Awards. And she has received more than 27 academic awards from various academic institutions. So this is just a small sample of how much influence and impact she has had on the field, and such a leader in both the knowledge and in community building. And we need more people like Shashi Tiwari ji to uphold our Sanatana Dharma and not only contribute to the field, but also organize lead initiatives that take us all, into this very important journey of understanding our Veda, Sanatana Dharma. And so I'm very pleased to introduce Professor Shashi Tiwari ji, and I'd like to ask my father also to welcome her.
Thank you very much, Dr. Prasad. And today is also a very important day, and we are able to listen to Dr. Shashi Tiwari for another time, all Bangalore people. She had the privilege and happiness and also gratitude for her, by us to visit Bangalore and speak on Surya Bhagavan. And so we had that first occasion that she visited. And not only that, when we organized the conference in Bangalore, she was very much present. So thereby, many of our Bangalore Veda, Adhyayana, Kendra members and all others know her name and her scholarship and all that. So we have another opportunity now to listen to her on the most important Upanishad of Yajurveda, that is Kathopanishad, and it is popular after Isavasya Upanishad of Veda, and among several Upanishads, Kathopanishad has a significant contribution too, and moreover, we have got Agni Vidya or Nachiketa Vidya present in Kathopanishad, and before that we had in one of our annual day celebrations, our yoga faculty master T.S. Gopal has prepared a small Kannada drama by name Nachiketa Vijayam, and that was enacted also on the as a cultural program sometime. And Vasan, who just now recited Vedic prayer, was the Yama in that drama, and we had a wonderful exposure and understanding and making people to understand how important is the Kathopanishad and all that. And moreover, we have our Bangalore chapter of Veda Association, earlier it is World Association, which got opened in the end of 90s in the presence of Dr. Ghare, Dr. Kashyap and so on. And then onwards, we have been having almost continuously programs projecting Waves Bangalore chapter on one hand and spreading the academic Vedic things academically, some also traditionally. And recently we have started, because we are all distanced, we can't meet in together. So this Zoom has helped us to meet all people all over the countries and all over places. So we have the great opportunity of having the program monthly Google Meet started January, and we had one by Lakshmi Narayana Vyas from Rajasthan, a great Sanskrit scholar, to talk about the yagnas, and now we have got the series are going on, and there are so many scholars, and this is the fourth one on Kathopanishad and Yajurveda, which is a very important. Katha is dukkham, is difficulty. Upanishad is the Vidya or the measure. So how best we can overcome the dukkham, all that is one important, and there the Nachiketa Vidya is there. So we'll come to know more about this style and theme of Kathopanishad from a versatile scholar who has been doing a lot of work, not only academic, not only traditional, but also social, and bringing the our heritage, Vedic knowledge, Sanskrit knowledge to limelight and noted by all people. So with this little introduction, because our biodata runs to several pages, we can't present all that about her, but welcoming Dr. Shashi Tiwari, requesting her to present her speech. Now, Dr. Shashi Tiwari, Namaste, Madam.
प्रभाकर जी अमेरिका में है ना आजकल, उन्होंने शशि का लेक्चर कराया है कठोपनिषद।
How to stop sharing को करना पड़ेगा. Stop sharing. How to open again?
Share screen. You can do share screen, and then press the PowerPoint in the bottom.
PowerPoint.
Uh,
Reactions.
No. If you the PowerPoint file is that up open? Once it's open, then there is a green button called Share Screen.
Yeah, that is that has to be selected.
Yeah, Share Screen has to be selected, and then you share the PowerPoint file.
Yes, I got share.
Yes, that's coming. Very good. We can see it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Prasad, for my introduction. And thank you, respected Dr. C.L. Prabhakarji, Bangalore chapter president also, for speaking such nice words for me. But I personally think that I am not a right selection for today's important lecture program. To begin your lecture, this is perhaps your keynote speech, first day of the year program. But I will try to do justice with the subject, and as much as I can, I will like to present it. The subject is Kathopanishad, and especially its style and theme is the sub-subject, written main subject of the topic. So as a stop sharing. Should I close that stop sharing?
No, don't stop. You can keep speaking, and you can go through the slides.
Slide number 2.
Yeah, just do the down arrow. Down arrow.
No, nothing.
No, the down arrow. You can press the down arrow, or you can just use the mouse to click on the slider on the right. Yeah, just press the down arrow in the keyboard.
No.
Madam, you can click on the two. Yeah, that's
better. Yeah. Thank you, Shankar.
So as Professor Prabhakar has referred here, this Upanishad belongs to Yajurveda, and especially to Krishna Yajurveda. And in Krishna Yajurveda, this mantra is recited as a Shanti part. So I am also starting from that mantra. Sahanabhavatu, Sahanau Sah Viryam Karvavahai, Tejasvi Navadhitamastu, Ma Vidvishavahai, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let we both, please protect us both. Sah no bhunaktu, we both should enjoy. We both should together do the work of strength or powers. Na avdhitam astu tejasvi, which we are studying should be brilliant, should be effective. We should not hate to each other. And then 3 shantis, 3 types of peace. This invocation is done together by the teacher and the student. Upanishad, Krishna Yajurveda Upanishad, the same Shanti part will be used. Kathopanishad is the most popular Upanishad. Kathopanishad is the authentic Upanishad. It is an independent Upanishad. And it is a classical Upanishad also. It is a principal Upanishad also. In Muktiko Upanishad, actually, there is a Upanishad named Muktiko Upanishad. There is a verse, Isha Kenkat Prashna Mundak Mandu Ke Taitriya, Aitriyam Cha Chandogyam, Brihadaranekam Cha Dash. This is the list of the 10 Upanishads given in Muktiko Upanishad. And according to that, this is the third Upanishad, Kathopanishad, and it is the most authentic Upanishad, because these 10 are regarded as classical Upanishad, principal Upanishads. What is the meaning when we say that it is an independent Upanishad? Most of the Upanishads, or maybe not all the Upanishad, but most of the Upanishads are part of any Vedic text, as some may be of any Brahmana or Aranyaka. Brihadaranyaka is itself an Aranyaka. Maitreyi Upanishad is a part of Maitreyi Aranyaka. But this Upanishad is independent Upanishad. It is not a part of any other text. It is an independent text. It is related to Katshakha of Krishna Yajurveda. Kat is the name of the Acharya who was the student of Vaishnapan Rishi, and he was the founder of Katshakha. So this is called Kathopanishad. And there the style of this Upanishad is, in simple word, we can say it is in dialogue form. There is a dialogue between Nachiketas and Yam, and Nachiketas is the son of Vajashrava Rishi, and Yamacharya, all we know, he is Yamraj. So the dialogue between these two is mainly called Kathopanishad. What is the nature of this Upanishad? It is divided into 2 adhyayas, 2 chapters, and then again, each chapter is divided into 3 parts, and they are called vallis. So the whole Upanishad has 6 vallis, and they have 2 chapters. So the more than 100 verses are there, approximately 120 verses are there. Not all verses are poetry, some are in prose also. What is the purpose of this type of style? This type of style, which is simply said Samvad Shali or Prashnottar Shali. Samvad Shali is the style of dialogue, Prashnottar Shali is the style of question and answer. So what is the purpose of this type of style of conversation? In Upanishads, and especially in all the Upanishads, not only in Upanishads, but in the Rig Veda also, there are samvad, there are questions, as in Nasadiya Sukta, Ko Veda, in Purusha Sukta, Ko Ase, Avadit, Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema. So like that, there are questions. This is a style of saying some thing which is very mysterious. And that is why Upanishad, another name of Upanishad is Rahasya. And another name of Upanishad is Vedanta. They are the essence of the Ved. The whole of the Vedas have talked about religion and philosophy, but later Rishis has discriminated, or the knowledge, spiritual knowledge, separate, and they were composed in Upanishads, of all the 4 Vedas. So all the Upanishads are related with each Ved. Rig Veda has another 1 or 2 Upanishads like that. So this Upanishad, as I told you, is of Yajurveda Upanishad. So generally people say all Upanishads has 1 subject. So that is a very obvious answer, because all Upanishads are related with one or the other Veda. So the student of a Ved has to read Upanishad, and he will go up to the Brahmana Aranyaka Upanishad. So the subject is, broadly subject is Brahma Vidya of all the Upanishads. And the style is Samvad or Prashnottar. And the purpose is transformation of knowledge. Transformation of knowledge from Guru to Shishya. If that transformation is not done, purpose is not be solved. Because, why? Because firstly, to be able to get the whole knowledge within himself, then only he can preserve it. He can teach it to other students of 2nd generation. And this is the way how knowledge will be transferred from one to another generation. And as you know, this is called parampara. Parampara, sampradaya. As Mundak Upanishad says, sampradaya vidhi. So the knowledge has to sankraman, not karuna sankraman. It is not gyan sankraman. So sankraman is the purpose. And for that, a noble student with two qualities, mainly with two qualities, if not more than two. First is curiosity, is very high. Renunciation. He should have very serious about what he want to know, and he should be curious about his subject. So these two are main characteristic of a student. But guru is also selective. Not everyone can be guru. And Mundaka Upanishad says about it that he should be Kshotriya and Brahmist. He should be well versed in all disciplines, all scriptures, and he should be having faith, full faith in Brahma. Brahma is the name of the Brahman also. Brahma is the name of the mantras also. Brahma is the name of the knowledge also. So Brahma Nishtha must be a teacher. Kshotriya must be a teacher. So if one has such guru and the noble student is before him, then that knowledge will be given to him. Till that knowledge is not transferred, he can't stop. He has to say it again and again and again. Finally, when he will understand, then only teacher's job or guru's job will be completed, and student will preserve it, and later he will transfer it to someone else. So like that, you may say, you may see in Shri Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna has tested so many times to Arjuna, then only he agreed to give him or to repay him, and that was called Gita. So as this is very popular, everyone knows it about it, but even in the beginning, I have to tell something about that. So it starts from a story. And in a story, there is conversation. And conversation is comparatively lesser, but in between, there are few questions raised by Nachiketas. So the story says that there was a rishi, Vajashrava Uddalaka, and he performed Sarvamedha Yagya. The Sarvamedha Yagya is that Yagya where he has to give everything to the needy persons or to the Brahmanas. So Vajas is the name of Anna, and Shrava is fame. By giving Anna or Dhana, who has gained Yasha or fame, is Vajashrava. So all the time he was performing such types of yaga. It is not a very special thing for him at this moment. But I noticed that father is giving some old instead of good one to some brahmanas, and he is keeping good one perhaps due to his attachment. Because there is a child in the home, so he noticed everything. Then he asked to his father, "Kasmai mam dasyasi," to whom you are going to give me? Then father comes in anger. He asked this question 3 times. Then father comes in the anger and he says, "I give you to death. I give you to mrityu." And then father tried to stop him, but he says, "No, I have to follow your instruction. I will go, definitely I will go." And he goes to the home of Yamraj. It is outside home. If there are people living inside, so when Yamraj returned, he noticed, or he was told by someone, that he has waited for 3 nights. He was waiting for you. So this mantra, Trisrin Yad Avatsi Preme, Anashtan Brahman Atithi Namasya, Namastestu Brahman Swasti Meastu, Tasmat Prati Trin Varan Varishwa. You stayed in my home without food for 3 nights. So you are my respectable Atithi. I wish welfare of you. And on behalf of these 3 knights, I ask you to please ask 3 boons from me. In place of 3 ratris, ask 3 boons, 3 var, you ask var manglo. So he says like that. Then he asks the 3 vars, and the story says that first var was, this mantra was first var. Shanta sankalpa sumna yata vitmanyu gotmo ma bhimrityu tat prasishtam ma bhivade pratita etat triyanam prathamam varam varane. He's very intelligent boy. You will that he is using. He says, this is my first var among the 3 varas. And what he is asking? He is asking, when I left my home, my father was not pacified. He was very disturbed. He was in anger. So whenever I back by you, I will go back to my home in the same form. My father should recognize me. Yeah, will recognize me. I hope so. And he starts talking to me as I am his son Nachiketas. Then very cleverly he has asked that I will be returning home and I will be returning in the same face, with same face. So this was not a condition of the var. Var was only father should be pacified and without anger. So, but childish, Yamraj was happy, I think so, and he grants this var. Then the second var he asked, this is called satisfaction of father, Pitri Paritosh, not the happiness of father. Remember, satisfaction of the father. And later I will explain it to you. Then second is heaven. He asked about the knowledge or knowledge of sacrifice from which heaven is availed. So firstly, he describes Swarga. What is Swargalokena bham kinchana. Na tatra tvam na jarya bibheti ubhe tirtva ashnaya api paset shokati go modate Swargaloke. He again, you see his wordings. He says Swarg is that where there is no fear. Because why? Because there you are not there. So in Swarga you are not there. Death is not there. So it is without fear. And there is no thirst. There is no hunger. So everyone is happy. Everyone is enjoying. This is Swargalok. So I want to go to that Swargalok in the next birth. And for that, Agni chain Vidhi is required. I should have the knowledge of the Agni chain. So please tell me about that. Swarga can be availed. So he wants to know about the Agni chain or Yagya Vidhi. Through that, Swarga can be achieved in the next one. Swarga Sadhanbhut Agni Vidya, this is his second word. Then in the third word, in mantra number 20, he says, Yeyam prete vishkisa manushe astiteke nayam astiti chaike etat vidya manushishtastoyam varanamesh varastritya. Now my third worry is that there is a doubt when person is dead. When one person is dead in the earth, there is a doubt. Some lives, some say it doesn't live. So what is the right answer? Please tell me. And this is this question's answer will be my third word. This answer or the knowledge. As till I will not get the knowledge, my word will not be completed. So the whole knowledge about this and name is not given. What asking about which is not here. So we know that he is asking about Atman. But he is not saying Atman. He says something is there, something is not there. Something is left, something is either left or not left. This type of doubt is there. So naturally, it is a difficult question. Atma Gyan to a child is a very difficult thing. So Yamraj says, don't ask this question. It is a difficult question. Even gods don't know about that. how you will understand. So he says, that is why I want to know from you, because no one knows about this. Then he gives him many things. Age, ritual age, you take Rajya, you take dance, music, women, etc. Live there, you want to live. But he says, no, nothing doing. Give me the answer of my question, and that will be my third one. So this is the main subject of this Upanishad. The answer of that question is the main subject of that Upanishad, and it is finished on the first valley. This dialogue is completed, and later answers given. So the whole valleys are dedicated to Atma Gyan, the knowledge of Atma Gyan. As we have, we can analyze these three wounds simply as three steps of a ladder going upward. First step is about Pitri Paritosh. Father should be satisfied. Father means family. Family means worldly life. This worldly life, this birth, the life of this birth. So all these meanings are hidden there, and it should be satisfied, not very happy, not very glamorous, but satisfied. And if it is satisfied, then first step is completed. The second step is Swargis Agni. And Swarga Agni is second birth, Parlokik Sukha, Parlokik Shanti. So he asks that by the second boon. Then in the third boon, the third step is there, and that is spiritual Shanti, spiritual Sukha. So one cannot proceed to spiritual assignment, spiritual achievement till these two are completed. Vedas never that you should leave this life, you should live another life, you should not be happy, you should not be ashavan, you should not be. So everything in the life, you should get it. Even then, knowledge should be attained. So this is the three, and knowledge at once cannot be attained. For that, these two steps have to be completed. So these boons are indication of these, as I think, like this. And the second thing we have noticed that Nachiketas was Jigyasavan, he was Sthir Buddhi, he was Vairagyavan. So he was very firm about his determination. He was very curious. He doesn't with bargaining, he was not attempted anymore. So he was tested, and in the test he was passed. Then he was declared a meritorious student, and then Yamraj decided that I should give him discourse of Brahma Gyan. And Brahma Gyan, the purpose of Brahma Gyan is liberation or moksha, or freedom from this birth. And there are many explanations, and we will see later what Kathopanishad says about moksha. So this was simply the introductory part of my presentation. Then I will divide the whole of the 5 valleys subject matter into 3 subheadings. First is means. What is that? Means of the attainment of moksha. If moksha is the purpose, what are the means to attain that? This is just in length the Upanishad. Then moksha. And the third is what is the nature, what is the root of moksha. So after vairagya and vivek, after decision and renunciation, one has to select the way. There may be many, as you all are so learned, and is there, yoga marg is there. So firstly, sadhana has to be adopted. When you will start traveling on a road, you can't change that road. You have to travel on that road only to reach your destination. So first, through vivek and vairagya, select a way which is proper for you. And in Kathopanishad, I think there are 2 ways are broadly given there. First is Shreyas and Prayas. These are 2 types of ways. In first Adhyaya, second valley, first mantra, Yamraj says, Anya Shreyo Anyatev Priya, Ubhe Snanarthe Purusham Sanita, Tayo Shreyo Addanasya Sadhu Bhavati, Hiyate Arthat Yau Priyo Varnite. There are 2 types of ways. One is Shreyas Marga, the another is Prayas Marga. Prayas is that which is lovable, which is priya, which we want, which pleases us. The Shreyas is that which is for our benefit, which is for our good, for our kalyan. So all have purpose. Both have ranked there. Finally, both will lead to some place, definitely. But the person who is Viveki, who is Vairagyavan, will decide which path I should take, which marg I should take, and finally he will say, no, Preyo, I will not select Prayas, I will select Shreyas. Finally, he will select Shreyas and he will start traveling on that marg. The second verse has given this thing only, Preyo Mando Abish Shemat Vranite, for yoga and shame, for the attainment of yoga and shame, a intelligent person selects not Shreyas, not Prayas, but Shreyas man. So these are 2 things, and principal Upanishads, in principal Upanishads, only Kathopanishad, I have not seen anywhere else Shreyas and Prayas, description of Shreyas and Prayers. And this is originality of Kathopanishad. So this is also important to know. And the words are given, Nishreyas, it is not Nishreyas, it is Shreyas and Prayas. So the meaning is hidden in the name only, and they lead to some result, but the best result, the permanent result will be obtained only from Shreyas. So the Dhir should adopt Shreyas Marga instead of Prayas Marga. Then second is Sadhani is Vidya Avidya. And these 2 terms, Vidya and Avidya, are explained in many Upanishads. Firstly, in Ishavasya Upanishad, you have read there that 3 verses are dedicated to Vidya and Avidya. Vidyam cha yastad ubhayam avidyayam mrityum tiva vidyayam amritam ashnute. This is the 3rd verse. Firstly, he says Vidya has some result, Avidya has some result. Both lead to some destination. But finally, he says Avidya mrityum Vidyaya amritam ashnute. All have explained these verses according to their own ideology. As Gyan Karma Samuchay may be there or may not be there. As Shankar says, no, Gyan and Karma Samuchay cannot be there. In Gita also he says it is not possible. In every Upanishad he says, but a person is always indulge in action, will not be able to know Gyan. For Gyan, he has to leave karma, and then he will be Gyani. And Gyan se hi moksha milega. Only Gyanat lavate moksham. Gyanat rite na mukti. So these types of things are there. So accordingly, Vidyamcha, Avidyamcha, he says Avidya is mrityum tritva. Avidya is worldly knowledge, this world's knowledge. Through that, you will cross mrityu. Mrityu means problems of this life, disturbances of this life, unpleasant things of this life. But Vidya Amritam Ashnute, only Vidya you will be able to get Amrit or immortality or moksha. So very clearly, Shankar has taken Avidya as worldly knowledge and Vidya as spiritual knowledge. And then again in Mundakopanishad, if we will like to discuss, in Mundakopanishad also, these two are referred, but in different name. And in the very beginning, it says, Dve Vidya Veditavya, Paracha Aparacha. Aprayaya, Rigvedo, Yajurvedo, Samvedo, Atharvedo, Shiksha Kalpa Vyakaran Nirukta Chanda Jyotish, iti. Or Parayaya Aksharam Adhigamyate. So in Mundak, he very clearly really says that Apara is all the Vedic literature is Apara knowledge, and Para is that through which Aksharam Adhigamyate. Akshar means Brahma, which is not never destroyed. Naksharati Akshara. So Akshar Brahma is attained through which knowledge? That is Para knowledge. That is higher knowledge. One is lower knowledge, one is higher knowledge. Then again, Bhashikaras started debate. Why all the literature is Apara knowledge or second lower knowledge? If all the literature is lower knowledge, then what is the Para knowledge? Because Veda is Brahma Vidya. So Shankar explains, no. If you are only indulging your all exercises in Shabdatmak Gyan, then it is Apara. And if you are going into the meaning of that, then it is Para. The same thing which you have seen in Jnana Sukta of the Rig Veda. Pashyan apina pashyati, देखता हुआ भी नहीं देखता, सुनता हुआ भी नहीं सुनता है, क्योंकि वो अर्थ को नहीं जानता है. यास्क ने बोला है और यही ऋषि ने भी बोला है ज्ञान सूत्र में कि देखता हुआ भी नहीं देखता. He is not getting the meaning of the mantra because he is not he is only reciting the mantra. He is not knowing the meaning of the mantra. So meaning is important. So here Mundakopanishad says, if you will go to the meaning, then it will be Paravidya. If you will only indulge, if you will only read, if you will only recite text only, then it will be Paravidya. Shabdatmika Gyan. So I think like that, and you may have your own opinion. So these types of two, Vidya and Aparavidya, these are two paths. One has to select and travel them. And here in Kathopanishad, Yamacharya says, Duramete viprite vishuchi, vidyacha avidyacha, vidyam abhipta nachketsa mane natva kama bhavo. Because you were not attracted by the place of the world. I am very sure that you are desirous of getting Vidya, not Avidya. And it means again, here Vidya is higher knowledge and Avidya is lower knowledge. So one has to select, and if he want to go to Moksha, he has to travel on Vidya, that is Brahma Vidya. Then the question arises, what is Atman? Here only few mantras, quotations are given. Na jayate mrite va kadachit, this is Gita's mantra. Then etad alamnam shreshtham, etad alamnam param, this is not in Gita, but there are 18, 19, 20, 21 of number Adhyayana 1, 2. These four mantras are same mantras which are given in Gita. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. So the tattva, the entity which remains after perishing body, after body destroyed, that is, and you have given there about this description, Sukshma se Sukshma Anuraniyan, Mahtumayan, also this type of descriptions there, which are in Ishavashopanishad. So this is common description which we will find in these mantras. And in India, I think learned people know that body is different, Atman is different, what remains is Atman. So Nachiketa himself know about that when he asked the question. Some say it remains, some say it not remains. But he want to know the nature of that thing. How be free from the world? This is his question. So I will come on the next point, and then he has to get the knowledge of process of attainment of moksha. What should the process sadhana is clear to him. Only 2 points. One is Laya Chintan, the other is on the next slide. So Laya Chintan means assimilation of gross into minute. We have many faculties. Firstly, there are Vishaya are the subject of our senses. Vishaya Bhog. Then sense organs are there, mind is there, then buddhi is there, then Mahatattva, then Atman. So this is going to Sukshma, this is going to minute side, this is going to gross side. So from this side, one has to travel inside, because he says Indriyas are only going always outside because they are built by God like that. Bahir Pashyan, वो बाहर ही देखती हैं, अंदर की नहीं देखती. कान बाहर का ही सुनता है, अंदर का नहीं सुनता. आंख अंदर का नहीं देखती. So etc. So they are not capable of knowing about Brahman. Then they should be in control of mana, and man should be controlled in the buddhi, and buddhi should be controlled in the mahat tattva. And then finally, when they all will be laya into one another, then only Atman will be there, and that is the state of moksha. Yada panchavatishtanti jnanani manasa se buddhischana vicheshtati tamahu paramam. That is paramagati, higher state for the soul, for the spirit. Panchavatishtanti, all the 5 sense organs. Jnanani, jnanendriyas, manasa, man, the. So, Sthit Pragya, Gita says about Sthit Pragya. So, all these faculties should be stabilized on their own stages. They should not disturb to each other. As in our ordinary life, all the time this is happening. Mind is attracting to Indriyas. Then intellect is to mind. So no one is doing his duty, but is wrongly controlled by the other entity. So if one will be able to do this will be called Laya Chintan, and finally he will remain in soul, he will remain in Atman, and that is the state of moksha. The second is a very beautiful metaphor used in the Kathopanishad, and that is very famous, and Kathopanishad is known also due to this rupak, or this is a metaphor or allegory, anything you may say. So here 2 verses are there. Atmanam rathinam vidhi, shariram ratham evatu, buddhim tu sarthim vidhi, mana pragrayam evcha, indriyani hayanahu, vishans teshu gochran, atmendri mano yuktam bhukta ityahu manishana. This Atman, which is not known to us, is actually Rathi, is the Lord of the chariot. Atman is the Lord of the chariot. And what is the chariot? Shariram Ratham Evatu. This body is chariot. This body is chariot. Buddhim tu sarthim vidhi. And buddhi is charioteer, sarathi. Intellect is sarathi. And manah pragraham evcha. And mind is reins. Mind is lagame. The process of Rath going on a road is that when Rathi is sitting there, he is only instructing, I have to go to that Maitreyi college. I have to go to Maitreyi college. Then Sarthi will control pragraha, means mana, and man will control to horses, and horses will then run to the right road. And then he will reach, the person Rathi will reach to his destination. And if it is not there, Rathi is not lazy. He is not instructing anything. Sarathi is not very good. So these horses will run here and there. Rath will be destroyed. He will be in a drain or in the other side of the road. So everything will be spoiled. So this Rupak says that Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi, the whole process of this body, mind, buddhi is for Atman only. He has to travel, he has to reach somewhere. He has to go up to Brahman or up to Moksha. And that is why he is Bhokta. If that Rath will be destroyed, if that Rath will be on the other side of the road, who will have to have this damage? Damage will be of that Rathi. गाड़ी का नुकसान होगा, ड्राइवर का नुकसान नहीं होगा. ड्राइवर को तो कुछ खास नहीं होगा, जो मालिक है उसका नुकसान होगा. तो इसलिए भोक्ता कौन है, ये बात भी मुझे कठोपनिषद में ही दिखाई दी है और बहुत क्लियरली दिखाई दी है. भोक्ता आत्मा है. अक्सर हम सोचते हैं कि आत्मा को कुछ नहीं होता है. हाँ, आत्मा को तो निराकार है, उसको कुछ नहीं होता है, निर्विकार है. बट कठोपनिषद से भोक्ता आत्मा, मनीषियों ने कहा है. कौन सा आत्मा? इंद्रिय मनोयुक्ता आत्मा. द आत्मन विच इज विद माइंड, with indriya, with body, that Atman is Bhokta. So we should understand this point very clearly. If Atman is free, once it is free, it is Jivan Mukta, then it will not be a Bhokta. But the Atman which is inside a Sharir, which has a mind, which has a buddhi, he can be, he has to enjoy good karmas or the bad karmas of it. So finally, he is Bhokta. So I think I am able to clear this point. So finally, we should use this sharir, this rath, very carefully with mind and control of mind and body. We should control indriyas, and the same thing is in Gita, sthit pragya, taduchyate. Finally, pragya should be sthit. And here he says, Jnanani Manasa, and the previous mantra I has told you. So I am moving ahead, and the third point is Moksha, and the same description we will find in every Upanishad. What is the swarup of Moksha? What is Moksha? Yatha udkam shuddham astikam tadrake bhavati evam mune vijanata atma bhavati gautama. When Atman is free from these malas, these karmas, these phalas, etc., then it is very pure, very shuddha, and it will be immersed, be assimilated in the Brahman, just like shuddha water in the shuddha water. They are same. No one can discriminate which water of this glass is in a pot. So as they are samrupa, as in other places you have read, Nam Rupam Vihaya. Nam Rupam Vihaya, leaving aside name and form, Atma merges into Brahma, and this is Moksha. Tam yogam it manyante stiram indriya dharanam apramatastabdau bhavati yogo hi prabhavati. In Kathopanishad, we have another very good point that it refers about yoga also. There are 6-7 verses which talk about yoga also, and we talk about upasana also. So this Upanishad is wonderful Upanishad, and finally it says this is the yoga. Actually, this is the yoga. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. The same Patanjali has developed a whole yoga darshan on the basis of this Kathopanishad, as I think like this, because everything is coming from Veda. That's why I think that yoga chitta vritti nirodha sutra is coming from Kathopanishad. And finally, conclusion, the main theme of the story is to show that step by step we should proceed, and what is when there will be no darkness, then only light will be there. There is no difference between Tamso ma jyotirgamay. Both are same. When there will be no tamas, there will be light. So if you will remove tamas, light will be there. It will not, these are not two steps, these are only one step. That is why to realize is to be. Brahma with Brahmev bhavati. And why we are talking all the time, ho jayega, that is only to explain. In fact, they are the same. As in Yajurveda, there is a very beautiful verse, tad apashyat, tad abhavat, tad asit. It sees, it happens, it was like that. So they are not two. In fact, they are not two. So this assimilation is only to explain what this is moksha. But they are in fact, the Atman is the form of Brahman only.
Thank you.
Uttish Jagrat Prapya Varanya Buddha. This is a famous quotation of Kathopanishad. And this is a famous mantra, na tatra suryo bhavati, na chandra tarakam, naima vidyuta kuto magni, tamev bhantam sarvamidam vibhati, tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. So Brahma, the only light is Brahman, and all lights are its form, its reflections. And then again, finally, Ekatmavad, Advaitavad, as Shankar says, is the principle of Kathopanishad. And I will be concluding my presentation here with namaskar to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. You have made a wonderful analysis and comparison and contrast, and talk to us about the moksha. In fact, that is the samam bonam, and to which all human beings born upon the land have opportunity. And that opportunity has got to be utilized, but the good speakers and acharyas like Dr. Shashi Tiwari must be there to guide people to get on to this kind of moksha analysis and trying to reach it. And we have later on also very wonderful poets like Kharidasa and others who have tried to give us the summary of these Upanishads in a very convincing manner. For example, if we just talk about the 3 dramas of Kharidasa, there we have the entire essence being given in the last line of the Nandi slokas of the dramas, Malavika Agnimitram, Vikramorosiyam, and Abhignana Shakuntalam. In the Malavika Agnimitram happened to be the first drama. He makes a prayer that tamasi vritti will be chasing and haunting all people, attraction and all that. So that has got to be removed, and God should help us, the mind, to get on to this sanmarga avalokanaya. See, we cannot normally look at the sanmarga. Our margas are our margas only. The style is our own style, because they say man is style. And sanmarga alokanaya and vyapanayatu tamasim vritti. So the tamasi vritti will be removed by the study of all Upanishads, and will be really elevated by that. In the next Vikramorasiyam, he says that how can we do that? Therein also, last line, he says, Sthira Bhakti Yoga Sulabhaha Nisreyasayaha Bhavatu. So that Paramatma is a Sthira Bhakti Yoga. That Bhakti Yoga should be there, and that too constant. And then we get the Nisreyas. Our Dr. Shashi Tiwari has mentioned about the Sreyas and Prayas and Nisreyas. Very, very important concepts which require dilation individually by itself. And then that Sthira Bhakti is the only mode, and that has been even given to us in the Bhagavad Gita. And because Bhakti is sandwiched between the karma and gnana. So these two are being sandwiched, and that also very interesting. And then finally, in Abhignana Shakuntalam happened to be the wonderful play. He says, then there will be Ashtamurti Sakshatkara for us. And after that Ashtamurti Sakshatkara, Kharidasa himself asked, Chapayatu Nilalo Punarbhavam, Chapayatu Nilalohitaha. So these are all the steps in the same manner. Our Dr. Shashi Tiwari has given us a ladder, a beautiful analysis through which we are able to climb step by step and ultimately go to that Para Pada, Param Padam or Parama Padam, and that moreover Gnana Devatu Kaivalyam. So only Gnana and Adhyatma Gnana. That Adhyatma Gnana Nityatvam Tattva Gnana Artha Darshanam. So these are all the important clues. Later on also we have got the ideas, but when we go to original like Kathopanishad or Mundakopanishad and all that, it is hard to understand. Actually, good scholars will be able to analyze and give us, make it a wonderful mango fruit or even banana that we are able to appreciate and know the pathways to that. Very happy. And now Dr. Charan Singh, and who is learning Kathopanishad for so many weeks, every week he will be joining to know about Kathopanishad, has some concluding remarks to make, and he will be talking to us for a while, after which we'll have Sri Devi, who is also a Veda student coming from Atlanta, Georgia State, and our Charan Singh is from Indianapolis, a devoted software engineer and has got a lot of achievements to him. He will be now speaking some remarks about this Kathopanishad, to which he is a student. Now,
thank you, Dr. Prabhakar. So first of all, thank you very much, Dr. Shashi Tiwari, for a wonderful and insightful elaboration of style and theme of Kathopanishad of Yajurveda. The narrative of Kathopanishad as a dialogue sequence between Nachiketa and Yama, the grit and resolve, the grit and resolve of Nachiketa as a seeker and his dedication. I think somebody needs to mute probably. Mr. Prasad, Lalan Prasad, if you could mute. Thank you. As a seeker and his dedication as a tapasvi is noteworthy. I'll wait for Mr. Prasad to
no, he's not there. He has got one important meeting. He has gone off. So I'm just to do it. I can. So please continue, sir.
रात तो थोड़ा सा मुझे ठंड लग रहा है जैसे फिर सजा उड़ा फिर जाके नींद आज रात में सर नींद मुझे नहीं आई ठीक से आपको बताना चाहिए था आपने मुझे बताया एक बार भी आपने नहीं बताया ठंड लग सब में कल ऐसी घटना हो गई कल बुधे शर्मा भी चले गए
You are open. The microphones are open. Professor Lalan Prasad ji, Sunil Kumar, but
Lalan Prasad.
Yeah, Mr. Lalan Prasad, if you could mute.
Sunil Kumar Bhatt also.
Thank you. Thank you. So the narrative of Kathopanishad as a dialogue sequence between Nachiketa and Yama, the grit and resolve of Nachiketa as a seeker and his dedication as a tapasvi is noteworthy. Nachiketa Agnividya is revealed to a true seeker who has a pure heart, intent, and belief, and one who seeks such Vidya with absolute determination. Dr. Tiwari, your guidance on the following points caught my attention, which I have taken notes for myself to refer to later. Kathopanishad is an independent Upanishad, that's what your guidance was, and not a part of any. It is a dialogue between Yama and Nachiketa. It is a Sambad Shali, that's what you indicated, or a Prashnottara Shali, which is a question and answer itself. The purpose is the Gyan Sankramana. That's what you indicated, the need and the intent of this Kathopanishad. There were three words that Nachiketa sought, and you emphasized first word is seeking satisfaction. You emphasized on the satisfaction of father and not the happiness of the father. You emphasized on that. The second word, obviously, was the Swargaloka, and you made a very nice remark. There is no fear in Swargaloka because Yama is not there. And that to me was very insightful as well. Obviously, the third word is what happens after death, and pretty much answer to that question. The third word is the whole of Upanishad, the Kathopanishad itself. You indicated about the three steps of the ladder, which all of us should seek and aspire for. You mentioned first one as parivarik sukh. The second one is the parlaukik sukh, which is the swarga yagani actually. And the third one you mentioned was the adhyatmik sukh. So three ladders, three steps of the ladder itself. You emphasized on that. And then you indicated that the next five vallis obviously are divided from a structure point of view into three, which is the means, process, and the nature. And while describing the means, you indicated the path that one traverses on, which is the sadhan. So sadhan is either you could take a shreyas marg or a preyas marg. Obviously, the right path for all of us is the shreyas marg, not the preyas, which is the pleasant. And during my, probably I'll share some shlokas as well after this feedback comments, and I'll emphasize over there as well. Then what are the means by which you can acquire such knowledge? And you describe there are two, which is Vidya and Avidya. And obviously the Vidya leads to the Moksha, and Avidya, which is the ignorance, is not the right path. And then one last point that you had emphasized, which probably I'll reiterate as well, while going through some of the shlokas myself. You mentioned that you discovered yourself in the Kathopanishad, that Kathopanishad emphasizes that Atma is the Bhokta. There is a lot of clarity on that. And while I was going through the shlokas as well, I came across that too. So I think I want to probably repeat this one for all of us, which is the emphasis or the clear direction from Kathopanishad is that the Atma is the Bhokta, and probably certain other Shrutis, which I'll probably go through a little bit later, elaborates on that a little bit more. So I think this is what I kind of noted as my personal notes while you were presenting. Again, a wonderful presentation. And I was able to share that with everyone. So with that, Dr. Prabhakar, if you permit, I would like to put my slides on the screen.
Yes, do it, please.
Thank you. I hope everybody can see the slides on the screen. And I think Lalan Prasad ji again is on the phone. Mr. Lalan Prasad, if you could mute your phone.
माता जी को बोलो ना, तो आप ही पढ़िए कुछ उठा के वहां से। हम तो पढ़ते ही रहते हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं? ये तो उपनिषद पर लेक्चर सुन रहे हैं। अब जो पर्सनल संपर्क के लोग, अब पांडे जी, अरविंद पांडे जी के पिताजी का
please continue.
Dr. Prabhakar, should I wait for him to stop?
No, 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 you continue, please.
Okay, all right.
They'll understand that it's unmute.
Okay. All right, very good. So I hope everybody can see the slides. If Dr. Prabhakar, can you see the slides?
Yeah, it is visible.
Thank you. So while reviewing Kathopanishad with Dr. Prabhakar during last few weeks, and in parallel comprehending Shankaracharya's commentary of the same, select shlokas caught my attention. And I'm encouraged to share the thoughts and the guidance of the Acharya. So on this very first slide, there are two shlokas which caught my attention. The very first one implies this Atman is not to be attained by a study of the Vedas. Now we have to be careful. That's what, in fact, Dr. Tiwari also indicated, that is, you have to experience it and not just recite for the sake of recitation itself. So again, this Atman is not to be attained by a study of the Vedas, nor by intelligence, nor by much hearing, but the Atman can be attained only by him who seeks to know it. You have to be a seeker who seeks to know it. To him, this Atman reveals its true nature. So I thought this was a very good guidance, which is in the Kathopanishad, Pratham Adhyayana, Dvitiya Valli, 23rd or Vimsati-3 shloka. So the Yama guidance to Nachiketa, and in the process, a guidance to all of us who seek to know the very fundamental question of our existence. The second shloka that you see on the screen, Yatha Sarve Prabhidyante Hridaya Seha Granthaya. I thought this was a very good shloka as well. So while alive, Acharya guides us, emphasizes that while alive, ties of the heart and the efforts of the intellect, both ties of the heart and the efforts of the intellect, which has its origins in ignorance, results in fast bound knots, which is bandhan. Lots of different scriptures I have come across which do emphasize, obviously, Kathopanishad is an affirmation or a reaffirmation of such guidance. Beliefs such as, I am this body, this is my wealth, I am happy or miserable, are the ties of the heart. Upon recognizing the Atman or the life force or the consciousness or Brahman, ties of the heart are broken and the mortal becomes immortal. So that's the guidance of these two shlokas. Then we start going into how do we do this? What is the guidance from Kathopanishad on the how? Just like as Dr. Tiwari had indicated on the process, the means, and the nature, the similar flow probably I will follow as well. So on this shloka, when the 5 instruments of knowledge, which is the Gyanendriya, together with the mind, and I'm going to emphasize continuously on that as Acharya guides us all the way, it's not primarily the heart, but along with the intellect as well. When the 5 instruments of knowledge, which is the Gyanendriya, together with the mind stand still, which is situated in the Atman, and when the intellect does not attempt, there is no cheshta from the intellect, that is called the highest state. So I think it's a very, and I came across when Dr. Prabhakar was guiding me on Isha Upanishad, I came across similar concepts so I could connect to it, where Vidya and Avidya was being described in the Isha Upanishad. The second shloka, which you see on your screen, is seeing the truth, then all desires which were clinging to the intellect of the knower. The desires were clinging to the intellect before he attained the knowledge, fall off from want of anything else to be desired. Recognizing that the intellect and not the Atman is the seat of desires, it is the intellect. The mortal becomes immortal like fire extinguished while living. All bondage destroyed, resulting in death of ignorance, desire, and karma. Dr. Tiwari also addressed in her presentation the commonality, or what I call, the word I use is a precursor to what you see in Bhagavad Gita. And to me, it was very revealing. Obviously, I had gone from Bhagavad Gita onto Kathopanishad rather than going from Kathopanishad to Bhagavad Gita. So, but we immediately recognize the seed thoughts that the rishis provided us were in the Kathopanishad, which were the precursors to Bhagavad Gita itself. So the first shloka in here is to acquire knowledge and perform karma. A chariot is imagined for the Atman. Dr. Tiwari also emphasized on that. Atman is conditioned in samsara. Atman is conditioned in samsara, entitled to acquire knowledge. We have both the paths available for the Atman. It is entitled to acquire knowledge and receive emancipation as well as perform karma in the samsara. Know that the Atman, who is the enjoyer of the fruits, here is the emphasis again, which Dr. Tiwari mentioned, that about Atman being the enjoyer of the fruits. Atman, the enjoyer of the fruits of the karma, and is in the bondage of samsara to be the lord of the chariot. Know the body to be verily the chariot, because like the chariot, the body is drawn by the senses occupying the place of horses, very similar to what Bhagavad Gita guidance is. Know also the intelligence to be the driver, furnished with the capacity for determination, because the body is mainly guided by the intelligence, as the chariot is mainly guided by the driver. So here is a analogy which the rishis have provided, which is Kathopanishad provides such a clarity in thought, and expresses with the analogies or the samvad shali for us to comprehend very quickly. Know the objects such as the form, and that's important because even the follow-up philosophies which came from Buddhism also emphasized on the form being the external objects. Know the objects to be the roads of these sense horses. The intelligent call the Atman combined with the body, the senses and the mind, the enjoyer. Again, the bhokta concept that Dr. Tiwari had guided us before, thou Acharya did add a comment which was, other shrutis thou declare that the pure Atman, other shrutis thou declare that the pure Atman is certainly not the enjoyer. So I will leave it at that, but I wanted to make sure that there are other shrutis which describe it the other way. So this is, and I mentioned about reaffirmation of Isha Upanishad, the path, having thus tested the disciple and found him to be worthy of the knowledge, death said, good is one thing and pleasant is another. Again, the Shreyas and the Preyas. Dr. Tiwari emphasized on that. Both these, the good and the pleasant, serving different ends. They both are feasible. They both are being offered to us, but they both bind the man who is competent. They both will bind the man. Exactly reverberations of the learnings of what we had in the Isha Vasya Upanishad. Vidya and Avidya, they both bind us in the process. For one's desire for prosperity or immortality, he or she attempts at what is good and what is pleasant. These two, thou are opposed to each other. They both are opposite. As one is founded on knowledge and the other is shadowed by the ignorance. Happiness falls to him who pursues only the good. And that is our ultimate goal. But he who is ignorant and pursues only the pleasant misses the true and the eternal end of man. So it's a caution for all of us. And that's what the scriptures guide us. When Dr. Tiwari used the shloka which Vivekanand obviously had shared during his times worldwide on the Uttishta shloka, the alertness is both these are being offered to us. We have to be alert on the path that we pick, which will lead to Ananda or the ultimate happiness. And that is for us to select, not for someone to give. That is our choice. What caught my attention also is in Kathopanishad, I came across a shloka which is very physiology oriented, very biological in perspective. And I do see in different different Upanishads, rishis have guided us on the actual physical aspects as well. So on this shloka, the rishis guide us. Um, the rishis guide us that nerves, 100 in number, and one other named Sushmana, branch out from the heart of the man. And this Sushmana pierces out from the head. It could be an analogous, it could be symbolic, or it could be a very physiological, biological concept that rishis wanted us to learn. And this Sushmana pierces out from the head. At the moment of the death, the awakened ones guides Atman in the heart to the Sushmana, which then is released to the orb of the sun, and one attains immortality. And that's where I get to see the monks who are in the samadhi state during the pretty much at the latter or the end part of their lives. I do see such practices among those awakened ones. At the time of death, the other nerves travel in diverse ways, resulting in one being born again in the samsara. Again, it could be symbolic, or it could be a very biological guidance that the rishis provided us. On the last one, which is the end, so Nachiketa, having obtained his 3 varas, or the boons from death, having received the knowledge of the Brahman and the instruction on yoga, and Dr. Tiwari also indicated about the yogic knowledge being communicated in Kathopanishad, instruction on yoga and its fruits, attained Brahman and thus became immortal. How? Being already freed from vice and virtue. Acharya guides us. I think continuously I'm seeing this as a common theme across multiple Upanishads. They guide us both the extreme ends, the vice and the virtue, from desire and ignorance. One needs to be free. Anyone who, like Nachiketa, knows the Atman, the consciousness, and realizes its true nature, unconditioned and within all, again, importance is it is within all and not its form, not the objects that the indriyas pursue, which is not within all. The objects, the forms are outside, they are not inside, achieves immortality. So that concludes some of the shlokas I thought I'll share with the other participants on this call. And I want to make sure I once again thank you, Dr. Shashi Tiwari and Dr. Prabhakar, to provide us guidance on the Kathopanishad as a gentle reminder to all of us. Katho implies distress. Dr. Prabhakar mentioned that. Dr. Tiwari mentioned that. Katho implies distress, and this Upanishad guides us on its causes and then enlighten us to become free from the cycles of harsha and shoka, to be free from the cycles of harsha and shokas, and thus sever or cut the knots of the bondage. Om Shri Krishna Arpam, Shri Veda Purusha Ashirvada Astu, Om Tat Satu.
Thank you very much, Charanji, and you have made a wonderful analysis and comments, and even more ideas about Kathopanishad and its utility. Now I request Sri Devi to offer vote of thanks and conclude this talk. Sri Devi?
Yes, Sandy. I'm trying to upload. Charanji, can you stop the
Okay.
share button?
Yes. Yes. Here you go. Sorry.
Namasarvebhyaha. I'm Sri Devi from Atlanta. I just started learning Veda from Sri Prabhakarji. So I'm very new to Kathopanishad. I have never read it. So I feel like a small monkey in front of Hanuman when a lot of people know so much knowledge, but I'll try my best. Prabhakar Garu has asked me to do 3 slokas, which I'm going to present. This is my favorite slokam. Uttishtat Jagrat Prapya Varani Bodhat Shurasya Dhara Nishita Duratyaya Durgam Patas Tata Kavayo Vadanti. I have always liked this words from Swami Vivekananda ji. Get up, wake up, and stop not till the goal is reached. And I was surprised that it was written in Kathopanishad. And this sloka says, seek the guidance of illumined teacher. I think we have Dr. Prabhakar Garu, and today we have Dr. Tiwari ji, who have explained Kathopanishad. I just went through it. It has 119 slokas, which he has taught us within an hour. Thank you so much, Tiwari ji. It was so beautifully explained. And the path to attain this knowledge is like razor's edge, which is nishita, which is a sharp edge, which is very hard, but the road to spirituality can be attained by hard work, that is by sadhana and meditation. Etadhyevaksharam brahma, etadhyevaksharam param, etadhyevaksharam gnatva, yo yadichati tatsya tat. So actually Tiwari ji has explained it much better, that paramam, which is the highest, which is a supreme, that needs to be sought, is in the form of Om. And by attaining or learning about this syllable, we get all our desires fulfilled. Etadalambanam shreshtam, etadalambanam param, etadalambanam gnatva, brahma loke mahiyate. Alambanam means support. By having whose support, which is the best, by having whose support, which is the highest and the supreme, by knowing this support, we attain the Brahma Loka. Prabhakar Garu has always explained in our classes that in Brahma Loka, we have permanent happiness, Nityananda. So hopefully we can all attain that someday. And Tiwari ji has explained about this ladder of growth. In Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 2, I have learned about ladder of fall, but today we learned about ladder of growth, which I thought was very, very important. And thank you, Tiwari ji. So my job is to put all our gratitude into words. So I start with thanking Vasant Garu, who started the program with beautiful Shanti Mantra chanting. Thank you so much. And I would like to offer my sincere gratitude to Shashi Tiwari ji, who has taught me Kathopanishad, because I've never ever read Kathopanishad, and this is the first time I learned it. Thank you so much. And I understood the meaning of Shreyas and Prayas, and about the importance of Indriya control. I think this we have already learned in Bhagavad Gita. And the analogy of the chariot, that also we learned in Bhagavad Gita. And also attainment of moksha. And also the ladder of growth. I think that really caught my eye. And what was very interesting is, especially in these days of pandemic, when we are all so scared of death, the little boy Nachiketa has a conversation with Yamaraja, who is a lord of death. I thought that was very intriguing. Thank you, Shashi Tiwari ji. And thank you, Charan Maniketla. Sorry if I said your name. Thank you for all those slokas and explaining them so easily. Thank you. And I want to sincerely thank Anjaney Prasad Garu for emceeing and coordinating not only this program, but a lot of programs that we really have enjoyed. Thank you so much, Anjaney Garu. Last but not the least, our Koti Pranam to Prabhakar Garu, who has been teaching us every day. Pretty much every day he has classes for us. He teaches, doesn't get tired without any rest or anything. He just keeps on teaching us. Thank you so much. It is our pleasure and a great privilege to be your student, Prabhakar Garu. Thank you. And lastly, I want to put a slide just to change our emotion. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much to everyone who have joined here and who have got enlightened with the wonderful speech. And we conclude this session. If at all, everybody has got something to say on this, and because Kathopanishad is our guidance and also very interesting thing that we'll be able to get rid of this. And now Vasan, if he is there, and let us all recite the Shanti Mantra, thanking everyone.
Om Sahana Bhavato Sahano Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat.
उनसे बात करने के लिए सारे सब ठीक है कुछ बात करना
चाहती। So thanks everyone who have shared the knowledge, and thank you very much. We meet again for next month, a talk on Satapada Brahmanam by Dr. Aparna, the secretary of the World Association. So we look for her speech also next month in the same monthly meet programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
And I should thank also Sri Devi.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Sri Devi, who has made a wonderful vote of thanks, and also Charanji and Tiwari. But I never know, we have to explore the latent talents and give an opportunity to know that Charanji and Sri Devi, who just listened to me, but now I am listening to them. It is really a great opportunity. And so we want to explore our own talents out whenever occasions like this come up, because they are not just passive listeners in the classroom, but they're active speakers also. So this is what we realize. And we have got students like that. And I should thank Dr. Shashi Tiwari and Madhav Kulkarni, all of them who have joined to have made this program wonderful. We look for the Brahmana text next after Upanishad, and we'll just cover all these things. Thank you very much. Thank you, Shashi Tiwari ji.
Thank you all.
We learned a lot.
Thank you.
So we'll try to, if you have got made all the into form of paper, it will be a contribution for Veda Ganga in course of time. Take your own full time, and there's still time, but these floors are very good. Thanks, Amma.
Okay.
Yes, I end the Subramaniam, Madhav, and all. I end the session. Thank you very much, all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks to everybody.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.